All right, thank you for joining my daily review. Today we had the Nasdaq close below its 50 simple moving average for the first time since March 13th. So I wish I had better news, but I don't. And we have to play more defensive now, as the index here was 0.1% below the 50. It closed there. It's caution. First of all, it's digesting these big gains that we had. It's coming down rapidly, which is, I like that. And there's caution ahead of the CPI number. If inflation starts to pick back up, then this is going to be a problem. So we need a tame inflation number tomorrow. We just need inflation just as general as consumers. You feel it as you shop. Things are still pretty pricey and expensive. So inflation is still a problem. And so we need those numbers to come back down. And the Fed's not going to, stop hiking rates until they get it down to their 2%. So we'll be looking for that tomorrow. But anyway, like I mentioned, the Nasdaq had not traded or closed below its 50 simple moving average since March 13th. You can see that there, 11,362 is 1.5%. And the next day, the 14th, it closed above 0.4, and then it chopped up here, and then we were off to the races. And we had a great summer. I kept posting, this is a special time. Enjoy this time. Take advantage of this time. And now I'm gonna call this trend over. Typically, technically, I should say, the power trend doesn't end until the 21 crosses over the 50. But when you see stocks like Apple, just selling off on earnings, the numbers don't even really matter at this point. It's just the reactions, just these terrible reactions to these earnings reports. And these are the big kahunas. It takes a lot of power to move this battleship of a stock here with all these shares outstanding and all the funds and Warren Buffett owning it. This is a monumental move here to get this thing below the 50. And now it's 5% below its 50. Microsoft, ever since they reported earnings, it's just been a straight sell-off. And I talk to people, they're short Microsoft, they say it's overvalued, and that's fine. This uptrend was based on the thrust of stocks or companies spending money on artificial intelligence, and Microsoft is at the hub of that. And perhaps maybe going forward, they're not going to be spending as much, and the market's kind of reading into that. And these guys are getting a haircut here. This one is 4.2% below its 50. That's not healthy. Tesla's another one. Looks like a short here to me. That when this is 5.5% below its 50, and I'm gonna bet that it kind of just trades sideways for a while and then rallies back up to the 21 and then gets rejected there. That will act as resistance. I'm almost sure of it. AMD is another one that, we could see here rallied up. It traded up and then just got slammed down. Now that's going to act as resistance here for these stocks. And NVDA is one that, another one of the, the hub of the AI. It closed, nearly 1% below its 50 today. This is not good. Some of the leaders or the Magnificent Seven that are holding up well is Google. This one is above its 10 EMA. I mean, you can't argue with that. Same with Amazon. Had a nice earnings report, had a good response to the earnings report, and 1.8% above the 10. And then Meta is had a bad day today and is now below its 21. So definitely something to watch there. But if those stocks are not going to perform well, then the indexes are going to suffer, and a lot of stocks will suffer. But I'm going to go to the bad stuff first, and then I'm going to get to some good stuff, because you never want to get down. You never want to get to a negative. You want to be positive. Just realize what's happening and make the proper adjustments. You got to get more defensive, and your position sizes are smaller, and you trade faster and take profits quicker, and try to hit singles and not grand slams when the tape starts going against you like this. I'd mentioned those couple shorts in AMD and Tesla. In other ways, a lot of people are playing this as SQQQ, but to me, this looks like the 50 is going to be resistance here, and we'll see about that. We'll see if that doesn't trade up to the 50 and get slammed down, rejected, and we go the other way. So just keep an open mind. That's all I'm saying, is keep an open mind. We've seen a lot of earnings, stocks just getting slammed on good earnings report. I'm getting really sick of it. But the market's telling you something, like this rally's done. They know, they know the numbers going forward aren't going to be what they were in the past. This is what they're telling you, that even though these reports are coming in strong, they're just selling them. And there's very few buyers out there. This is HubSpot down, 11.5% on a good report. What are you going to do? GNRC was another one, just got waxed. Yeah, down 24%. And this is hard cheese, This is hard to take, because we're trending, so well for so long, and it's just bam, stairs up, elevator down. Yeah, these are 14 something percent move on earnings. Spotify, Lantheus did the same thing. The stock had been suffering, though. You could see leading up into the print that it was giving you signals there that it wanted to go lower, and it's down 11%. TMDX, real strong report. And this one sold off hard and then followed through. This is almost like a gap. When they talk about a gap higher, then it follows through the next day is a gap down, then it's just following through to the downside. And look at all this heavy selling here in TMDX. And I think the king was TGTX, which is down like 50%. And when they make a break like that, you can see that there's just no power. They're not going to make this V-shaped recovery like we saw with the COVID stocks. These things are going to be, they're going to be down for a while, forming a base, and it's going to take some time for those stocks. SMCI today, good report. Did what they normally do. They kind of sandbag their guidance, but I think their earnings going forward, they said they're going to earn 10 billion in sales, and I don't know, it's one of the analysts said $15 in earnings, but still, I mean, this thing's trading less than 1.5 times sales now, with the market cap below 14 billion and over 10 billion in sales. But it doesn't matter. It does not matter. You got to get the numbers out of your head and just look at the price. There are no buyers. I was watching this on the 5-minute all day, just waiting for this thing, and there was nothing. You want to see something power higher towards 275, 280, and it just didn't happen. So when stocks break like that, I'm not going to make any predictions, but typically you would see them go lower and follow through lower. Just like on the upside with VRT, you see it break higher, makes this move higher and it starts breaking higher. Same thing on the downside. It's a breakout to the downside, and usually they trade lower. Let me give you another example here. Crocs is one, made this vertical violation and just traded lower. It came up to its most recent earnings report and slammed down again. It's formed a little double bottom base there, but typically when they make a vertical violation like that, they don't make a V-shaped. Anyway, that's my soapbox for today. Sorry, I know some folks were long on SMCI. I had it since 90, and I had to sell the higher, the 140s, and the stock that I bought here. Sold them earlier in the weekend of the print, had a couple of puts in there, but it did not ease the sting of that pain. That is a cliff dive into the water, and that is a belly flop. That stings 23% drop. So I'm out of it. If you ask me where my position is, I'm out of it. I sold NVDA. I even sold Celsius. I'm going to get to that one later, because there are some stocks that are doing well. But I just had to trim and get clear out my portfolio, and I only have a few stocks now. I'm going to get to that a little later. It doesn't really matter what I hold. Lilly, the drug stocks are starting to perform well. They had a earnings report, and this one followed through. It didn't follow through. It had an inside day today. It was up 1%, $5. But that looks good. And NVO reports tomorrow morning. This is earnings season. You never know. You would expect them to report a good number. You never know how the response is going to be here in this tape. It's just a really brutal tape. And if you're not hedged, holding into earnings is just it's a coin flip is what it is, or even worse than that, because the house is winning most of these earnings reports. Gilead is another one, forming a base, and now it's got to get above its 200 simple moving average. When I'm looking around at some drug stocks, I'm looking around at some of the oil stocks. Tidewater is one that's been acting well, and I'm going to get to my ready and watch list here later on, because these do not move like NVDA and SMCI. You're not going to get moves like this, but if you buy them properly, you can hit some singles and doubles with these things. It's just going to take a little longer. It's a little slower. And this is International Seaways, INSW, oil and gas pipeline stock. And this one had a nice move today. Also on earnings, don't even want to mention earnings anymore. TNP is another one in the oil and gas. And I'm going to get to my ready list that, these things are a little slower moving. You see this is forming the right side of a base, but doing well. I mentioned Celsius, so I'm going to go to the retail stocks, jumping around here. Nice breakout, on earnings, but you can see it did this before, right? And it just kind of traded sideways for 3 months. So I'm hoping this thing can start trending higher towards 200 and get these moving averages trending in the right direction. We'll see if this thing has the power to do that. You could see some buyers coming in, or is it just going to trade sideways and kind of slough along again in a trade range? We'll find out. Definitely going to watch that stock, but I sold it on the spike today. Why? Because I'm getting defensive, and I'm just cleaning up my portfolio, taking some profits where I have them, not getting greedy. Just going to try to hit some singles now and play a little defense. So that was one. Alpha is another one that I like, even though it's kind of like a stair stepper, like Celsius, where it trades up and then it goes sideways for a bit and then spikes up. This one does have the moving averages trending in the right direction, though, and I could see this one making a new high above that 137 here pretty soon, if the market just kind of cooperates. I know the seasonality in August has been brutal, but I would expect this to at least flatten out here pretty soon, find support. And ODD is another one. This is an IPO stock that I'm looking at today, and this took a little bit of the thunder from ELF recently, but now ELF has regained its footing, and this one's just trading in an IPO base. It looks fine. Another IPO I wanted to look at was Atmos. This is a Cummins engine spinoff, and so the mothership has got what it does is it's got this IPO base and it broke out, right? Then it pulled back to the base and now is moving higher. But it does have the support from Cummins. It's always nice on a spinoff to have the mother company supporting it. Unless you're Mobileye and Intel is using you as an ATM, then it's not too fun. Solar had a good day today. I'm not long solar. I'm just watching it as the rotation. This is First Solar, and it's forming a nice little base here. So I'm trying to keep an open mind. Part of the thrust for the solar was ARRY. Once again, just keeping an open mind. A 24% move with that kind of volume cannot be ignored, but it's still in a trade range. I mean, if you look at the weekly, there's just a big, long trade range of nothingness. So ARRY, though, was responsible. Solar Edge, ooh, that's rough. That is not relative strength, folks. And then the poster stock for solar is in phase, and this one looks like Solar Edge. Brutal, but they were strong today. Okay, I went through the drugs. I went through the retail stocks. I went through the solar. I went through the oil. Oh, the HVAC stocks are looking okay too. This is Modine Manufacturing. Looks good. Had a breakout on earnings and is following through. And this is Fix, which is what a trend trader wants, right? The moving away from the base and just quietly just trading higher. This is what I like, the moving averages trending higher. And you can see a lot of the stocks that I showed you earlier had broken down. Linux is another one in that space that, just quietly moving higher. It is a strong industry group. All right, I want to get to the after hours action today because it's driving me crazy, these earnings reports. Now, Disney reported a stinker of a quarter, They lost more subscribers than they ever have, but its stock is up. And see, when stocks start going up on bad news, that tells me that this might be the end of the road for this downturn here. So definitely take a pencil out, make notes of Disney here. Right around this, it looks like the low is like 85 here, and now it's trading up to 90, 91 after hours. So it's definitely something to monitor there. Stocks stop going down on bad news. They can only go, one other way, and that's up. So, well, they could go sideways, but that was just something that I wanted to note in after hours action. Also, AAPL, they reported what the earnings beat, but the revenue was lower than last year's revenue, but they guided higher. So the stock's moving higher on the guide, 22%. That's all we care about is the movement of the stock. The numbers don't really matter right now, unfortunately, because I am a fundamentals guy, and it's just they're selling these stocks. Aluminum, Illumina, gosh, I forget the story on this one. The earnings weren't that great, and the numbers are down. So the stock is down, the numbers are down. So that one looks bad. CPRX, this is a biotech stock, and they had well, this one reversed because it was down quite a bit, but they had a beat and raise quarter. They beat on sales, they beat on earnings, they raised forward guidance. This is still in litigation with Teva Pharmaceutical, but something to watch, as these things bottom out, and maybe money comes back into the drug stocks and the oil stocks and the beaten down stocks. All right, I just wanted to take a look at some of the like if I just had my ready list and just traded that today, I would have done a lot better. Just some stocks setting up that are on my list that we're watching is URI. For obvious reasons, long cup with handle, and the bigger the base, the higher in space. That's to me, that's a nice looking chart. I know the tape is rough, but it's not going to be this way forever, and you want to keep these on your watch list. That one looks good. Lulu is another one. Lululemon, this had this sloppy chart where it sliced its 200, then came right back up. Now it's traded sideways tight. So I kind of like this action. It was up $1.50 today, and still going to be on the ready list. To me, that looks pretty good. ONON, the on holding shoe company, it traded down to its 21 pound support and was up 2% today, which is a good move in this tape. So, and it's still going to remain on the ready list. They have earnings next week, so hopefully good things will happen. I'm definitely not going to hold into that earnings report. PR, this is what I'm talking about with these oil and gas stocks. Slow movers, just a grind higher, just trying to hit some singles here. You're not going to get hurt in something like that. It pays a little bit of a yield, but I'm not there for the yield. I'm just there to, play defense and try to make myself a couple of bucks and stay away from these earnings bombs. This is an XPRO group. This has been on our watch list, and it's having a good week here. It's up 1.5% this week. Still forming a base, though. You can see this kind of a base on base pattern. This is a more cup-shaped base, and so that's another one on our watch list that I like, that I think looks good. And this is NOV. Let me see, NOV, yeah, just a nice big base. Gotta look at the weekly on these. Yeah, base on base pattern, with this second base being more of a cup shaped pattern. So just a little more defensive. TCOM is another one. This is a Chinese coordinator of a hotel and tickets, accommodations, blah, blah, blah. But it has a nice consolidation too. And it had a 2% move today, and this has been on our watch list as well. And that's it for today. Hopefully better things. Keep your head up. Don't get your dauber down, and never give up. Oh, by the way, in honor of Steve Jobs, one more thing. I am looking at this energy coal complex as a potential for movement here. This has just been quietly consolidating since June of 2022, and now maybe emerging here. I know it's a late stage base, but I'm just watching that one. I'm just saying I'm watching that one. And CEIX is another one, and that's energy coal space that kind of broke out of this cup with handle pattern here this week. I was going to put it on our watch list, but it was just the earnings season has just been too treacherous. And it was up 9% yesterday and followed through with a nice 5% move today. So anyway, that's it for today. Stay positive, always keep your watch list. Be prepared. This little downtrend is not going to last forever. This pullback here on the Nasdaq. There will be opportunities to have some dry powder and never ever give up.